Welcome back to Dead Good Book Reviews. I'm Judith and you're watching another What I'm Reading Right Now video here on the channel. Today is the 21st of June when I'm filming this, not when you're watching this, and we're going to talk about what I have been reading, what I'm currently reading, and what I'm going to be reading next. I excuse any background noise or weird lighting. It is first thing in the morning and also the window is open. We're fighting summer. We're fighting it. I finished 7 things since last time we spoke, which is awesome. Really happy with that. I'm going to tell you all about them. The first one I don't have physically anymore because I've returned it to the library, but you saw it last week. I finished The Dragon of Ginseng by K.S. Veloso. This is the 3rd book in the Chronicles of the Bitch Queen series. Whew, that's a lot to say. So let me give you my thoughts on that series as a whole. It's a trilogy. I will obviously have a video going up for it in the future at some point. I had a good time with the series overall. I think it is too long. I think not enough happens overall, but there are some really good moments and I liked a lot about it. I think it suffers from a little bit of tropiness towards the end, which again I'll talk about in that full video when I make it. But yeah, overall I would say probably not worth reading if you're thinking about it. There are other books I would recommend that I think do the same thing, but I'm really glad to have finished the series. When I returned that to the library, I picked up Painted Devils by Margaret Owen. This is the sequel to Little Thieves, which I do own, and I was wondering whether I needed to buy Painted Devils, and I think I've come to the conclusion that I don't. Not because this is a bad book. I am going to put it down because it's just too shiny. Not because it's a bad book, but because it just didn't do anything particularly new or fascinating that book 1 didn't give me already. I think it's a really fun romantic story about 2 young people trying to solve a problem together, but not to spoil anything, but when the source of the problem is kind of inherently a little bit funny, it struck me as a silly book overall. At one point there were Take That lyrics in the text. I think that was fun. I think that was good, but I don't feel the need to go out and buy myself a hardback copy of book 2. I'm very happy to just reread book 1 again. Really glad that I read it, really glad that I continued with that series. And I would read another one, but also very glad that I got it from the library instead of paying, what, $16.99 for a physical copy. After many weeks of trying, I finally, thanks to some reading sprints that Angela and I ran for our respective patrons, I finished Bloodhound by Tamara Pierce. Cheer, shout, run in the streets, throw me a parade. This took so long. Not in terms of the actual physical reading of it, that was relatively quick. I think I read it in a few hours, but just it took me a while to really dig in. This is very slow to start. It definitely picked up. I did actually end up liking this quite a lot. I think I gave it 3 stars, but that's a relatively average rating for me, quite literally. It's the middle number. I thought this was good. I do want to finish the series. I do want to read Mastiff. At the moment, I can't get it anywhere. I can definitely buy a copy, but I'm trying not to buy books that I don't necessarily want to keep, and I don't know if I'm going to want to keep Mastiff, so I will have to try and find someone to borrow it from, I think. But I did enjoy this overall. Would read the next book, but don't want to buy it full price. If I end up hanging on to them at some point, there will be a full video. Then I finished my audiobook of Exit Strategy by Martha Wells, the 4th Murderbot novella. I had a good time with this. As I've said in previous weeks, I'm going to talk about Murderbot as a whole because they do tend to kind of blur together. Overall, still really enjoying this series. We'll talk more on it in just a second. After that, I did my reread of Once Upon a Winter, which is a folklore and fairy tale anthology, and we'll skip out of chronological order just a little bit because I did also finish Once Upon a Summer, which is their new one. This features a lot of the same authors, so it makes sense to talk about them together. I actually really enjoyed doing this reread. Once Upon a Winter was much better than I remembered. I had a good time with Once Upon a Summer as well. I'm filming the overbooked video for these today, so bear with me while I collect my thoughts, but overall I thought this was really good. If you're a person who enjoyed the first one, I think you'll like the second one as well, and if you haven't read either of these, you don't need to worry about chronology because these are anthologies, and you can jump right in with summer if you want to celebrate this season that we're in. How about it? The other thing that I finished was Bookshops and Bone Dust by Travis Baldree, and I'm sorry to tell you that you have to wait until November for this to come out, I'm pretty sure. It's November in my schedule anyway, but it is so good. If you liked Legends and Lattes, I think you will love this. It is following Viv, the main character from Legends and Lattes, but 20 years previously. Viv's doing mercenary work and she gets injured on the job and ends up being sent to convalesce in this kind of sleepy town that she's not too keen to be in, discovers a small bookshop in the town that isn't doing very well, and it's kind of a fixer-upper story where there is also the looming threat of a necromancer. I thought this was just wonderful. I really enjoyed it. I think I actually maybe liked it more than Legends and Lattes just because the stakes are a wee bit higher. I definitely think Travis Baldree hit the nail on the head in terms of replicating what made the first book special, and I'm really excited for more people to read this. I will film a video for it. I'm filming that, if not today, then next week, and it will go up for patrons, but it won't go up for everyone until much later in the year, so if you want to hear my full thoughts on that, check out my Patreon. I'm only in the middle of one thing. I'm in the middle of Fugitive Telemetry by Martha Wells. This is the Murderbot novel, so it is taking me a little bit longer, but I'm still having a really good time with it. I had no recollection of what happened in this novel, so I was really interested to jump in, and I'm having a really good time. The first time I read it, I did it physically, and I think that was the wrong call. Murderbot works much better for me on audio. I pick up much more of the nuance to it, and yeah, I'm having a good time. More on it when I finish the series, which I think there's only a couple more things I need to read. I want to pick up a short story as well, so soon. Still to read this week, I have The Ruthless Lady's Guide to Wizardry by C.M. Wagner. This is a book I've owned for a long time but only read once, and I read it back when I was doing the Book a Day in June challenge, which was a silly challenge that in hindsight has meant I've had to reread every single book that I read during that time because I don't remember anything about it. I'm looking forward to reading this. It's forever booked. We'll talk about it when I've read it. And I'm also rereading Age of Ash by Daniel Abraham so that I can read Blade of Dream, which is the second book. I'm actually kind of looking forward to reading this because I've been reading some more beefier fantasy stuff recently, and I think it's got my brain in the right place to pick up Age of Ash. And I'm also not in a rush with anything else this week, so we'll see. I am going to put this last in terms of my priorities because if I don't manage to do a reread, it's not the end of the world. Peeking ahead into next week, I have a fair few things I'm going to be reading. I'm rereading Hench, I'm starting my reread of The Sword of Kaigen, Blade of Dream, like I just mentioned, and I'm also reading a couple of library things. I'm hoping that the library will have delivered my reservation of The Last Tale of the Flower Bride because I'm trying to go back and read some of the new releases that I just didn't have a chance to get to, because if I can get them from the library, why wouldn't I? And in that same vein, I have a copy of The Sunbearer Trials on the library's digital stuff, so I will be reading that as well next week. I did add one book to my TBR this week, but I did also immediately take that book off my TBR by reading the book the same day it came in, and that was Once Upon a Summer. Really enjoyed. Already talked about it. I feel like my actual owned TBR is shrinking rapidly, which I'm very pleased with. I also don't have any new releases to talk about this week. It's a slow, quiet little week here in the summer. I think July and August are going to be fairly heavy for new releases though, so stay tuned for that. The only other thing I've done is I sat down with my beloved spreadsheets and I set up all of my overbooked catch-up videos for 2023 and 2024. And when I tell you, I have now scheduled that content into October of next year, I think that's when it's up to. We're feeling very tightly scheduled here, and while for some people I imagine that is a huge sense of anxiety and pressure, for me, I just feel relaxed. Past me has made decisions that future me will follow through on, and here we are. If you ever want to hear more about my reading scheduling tool, please do let me know, because it is my favourite thing that I have iterated over a number of years. I think that's everything that I have to talk about, therefore. It is, as I say, a fairly quiet, sleepy week here. But I have a bunch of videos to film, so we should probably call it a day. What have you been reading? What have you been up to? Let me know down in the comments below. While you're down there commenting, if you haven't already, please do subscribe. It makes me feel loved and appreciated. You can also follow me on social media. Come hang out on Discord where we have chill chats about books. I would like to say an enormous thank you to all the ghosts who haunt me over on Patreon. They support the channel and in return get early access to videos, bonus content, live streams. We've got one tonight. Well, not when you're watching this. It's in the past, it's already happened, but you can watch it back. And they also get more than that. They're getting my TBR next week. Be excited. If you'd like to join their number, that's linked below as well. Thank you so much to you for watching. That's all from me, and I will see you in the next one. It's gonna be some bloopers now. Welcome back to Dead Good Book Reviews. I'm Judith, and you're watching another episode. No, can't see anything today.